Welcome back to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people, where we talk about critical issues in the blindness community. I'm Aaron Richmond. This episode, like all others, is of course copywritten by me, Aaron Richmond, and Aaron's Opinion. Thank you. This episode, like all others, can be found right here on YouTube, where most of you are watching, along with iTunes or anywhere you would get a podcast. Basically, consider following us on Facebook, Twitter, and even consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. I appreciate the support. You can, of course, comment below, or you can even call my show at 1-240-681-9869. You could leave a text or leave a voicemail. I would love to hear your contribution. By the way, don't get too excited. It's not even my real number. All right, let's get into it with this one tonight. We're joined by someone who I have kind of met along the way in Facebook. He's blind like us, and he's posted a lot of videos. His name is Dominic Parker. He definitely is a content creator like me, and he's kind of getting into YouTube and working on obviously producing better and better content and producing more things for us to enjoy around the YouTube sphere and all of that. Specifically, he runs some sort of a talent show, and I think that he has a lot to say. So, Dominic, welcome to Aaron's Opinion. How's it going?
Hello, everybody. Going pretty good. Trying to stay safe out here with everything going on, but yeah.
I understand. Sure. Okay. Well, where do you want to begin our story tonight? Do you want to talk about, growing up? Do you want to talk about the talent show? Do you want to talk about your hobbies? Where do you want to begin this episode? I'll kind of let you pick.
Okay. Well, I guess I can talk about my journey with blindness.
There you go. Go. Okay. Talk. Good talk.
So I actually have not been blind all my life. I actually started to lose my vision in 2012, December to be exact, and I started losing it due to diabetic retinopathy. I was actually, well, I'm no longer a diabetic, but I was a diabetic in the beginning from the age of 9. I'm actually 35 now. And poor management, all of that stuff, and eventually the stories are true, for those who may not believe it, diabetes can take your vision. So yes, it actually did take mine. Lots of surgeries. I want to say 8 or 9 to be exact. And then essentially it just got to the point to where, the doctor pretty much said, at this point, I don't think I'm doing you any help. I probably should stop. And then hopefully in the future, they could come up with something to fix your ailment. Because at this point, I would just need retinas, brand new retinas. And so from what I'm understanding, they're in the process of making that, but aren't quite there yet. The ironic thing, though, is that I actually ended up getting a kidney and pancreas transplant in 2015.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that I'm no longer diabetic. So that's definitely a blessing. And I've just always kind of said, hey, I want to be able to use my story or my life or my mistakes or whatever to just be able to inspire or help somebody else along the way. Or even if somebody would say, well, I don't want to do what he did, that can kind of just go to help, maybe educate or, push people forward. And I think that's kind of where I'm at as far as in my life dealing with the blindness.
That kind of reminds me of Aaron's Opinion, because I started this podcast about a year ago with the intention of creating a podcast for blind people, as I said in my introduction, where blind people from all over the world, by the way, sighted people, because this morning I had some very interesting sighted people. I could tell you who they were, but it would be a lot more, trust me, it would be a lot more exciting for you if you subscribe to the channel and of course follow the podcast and you could figure out who they were.
Right.
They were very interesting. So by the way, just have to throw this out here. Hey, if you're sighted, you are definitely welcome on this podcast. Aaron's Opinion, I've decided, is the world's most welcoming podcast. So everybody's welcome here. It's not just for blind people. Now, Are most of the people in my audience blind? Probably. But also, I don't actually have proof of it either way. I don't know how many sighted people actively listen and follow, on YouTube. I don't know. Comment below, I guess. So I started this YouTube channel and podcast because I felt that there just were not enough good podcasts where blind people or anyone can come up to the podcast and say, you know what, Aaron, I don't really know you well, but I'm a content creator and I want to talk about ABC. Hey, can we just meet on Zoom and just record a video and just see how it goes? I really feel like there just were not enough podcasts in the community that were really open to that idea, open to that concept.
Yeah.
So since I love educating people because I'm a teacher, and since I love talking to people, and I just love using my voice to educate the world and all of that, I thought, well, why don't I just talk to myself? So I started a podcast that does just that, a podcast where at first I started answering people's questions, in the various blindness groups all over the world. And those people became my audience. And then over time, it occurred to me, well, wow, I'm on iTunes. Next thing you know, wow, with this Zoom thing, you can create a video and then put it onto YouTube. Oh, that's kind of something, we're getting to something here. So
Right.
that's how I got into it, and I'm so glad that you really want to do the same. And I hope that you get into podcasting because it's a wonderful hobby and an amazing way to connect with the world. Yes.
Yeah. I know personally, and I'm sure you probably have gone through this as well. I know a lot of times I feel like I get discouraged a lot of times. There's so many factors that play a role in putting out content and educating people. And sometimes it can be really discouraging. But I know for myself, it's always like as soon as I'm ready to throw in the towel and just be like, I'm done with it, I don't want to do it anymore, somebody always shows up and goes, your content helped me so much, or it inspired me, or you educated me, or you did whatever. And I think that's the thing that I try to stay focused on.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess will probably segue into your next question. I really was not really big on creating content. I was just like, if I run into somebody out, in the street, then, I'll kind of talk to them. But I see that doing this, like you said, with YouTube or even Facebook, you get to touch, or at least it seems like you're touching more of or your reach is vaster than as opposed to in your one town or your state or whatnot.
Sure. Yeah, and we have listeners on this thing from all over the world. I mean, we have people from countries I've never been to. I've traveled all over the world, but I've never been to Singapore. I have a listener in Singapore, Turkey,
Okay.
Russia. So yeah, this is a global podcast now.
Okay.
So that shows how powerful podcasting is. And if you ever feel discouraged, Dominic, know that I care, for one, and for another, every podcaster has silent listeners, people who secretly are supporting you, and they're just too cool for the cucumbers to admit it. So that's always, oh yeah. So just because a video doesn't get a lot of attention, you don't know who's watching you. So you could be being watched by important people or not, or you could be watched by people in the United States or Brazil or not. You never, sure. Can I go to my analytics tab and look at it with voiceover? Sure. But those are, rough, fairly accurate estimations, but it's not proven. It's not foolproof. It's pretty good.
Right.
99% accuracy.
Well, thank you for that encouraging word. I really appreciate it.
Well, that's what this podcast is supposed to do, to help to help. We have a famous.
So I guess for the reason why we're here, I know, and just to give you guys, because I can be long with it. So if I'm doing too much, let me know. The talent show.
Right.
So essentially what happened is when I first started to venture out into the blind community, Facebook kind of gave me my access to, being able to communicate with other people who were dealing with some of the same struggles that I was dealing with and who were around my age range. So I actually ended up being invited to a certain Facebook group. And then within that first Facebook group, I ended up making a lot of friends and stuff like that. And then a second Facebook group spawned off from there. Now, while within that second Facebook group, I was actually invited to be a part of management. And so my role personally with that particular Facebook group was to make sure that I created content. And like I told you guys before, I was like, that's not really my thing. You know, I have all these great ideas, but, you know, I didn't really have the confidence or whatever in myself. But one good thing that I will say is that it definitely gave me the platform to be able to get more comfortable and build more confidence in who I was while still interacting and getting to know the, you know, general blind public, if you will, a little bit better. So, and didn't even realize it at the time that I was kind of honing in on my craft. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. So along with a lot of other shows, I actually had the opportunity to create this particular talent show. The gist, or the pretty much the outlook, or, you know, just a whole summary of the show is, for those of you guys who may watch American Idol or X Factor or America's Got Talent, it pretty much follows the same format. I thought it was really big for me because I always wondered, like, wow, because I was in that position where I didn't really know a lot of people. So I was like, okay, well, wow, I want to know about this person. Like, I wonder if they have any talents, what their hobbies are, you know, what they bring to the table. And so when we were in the group, I felt like it was a good way to get people to come forward and, you know, share their talent. I think essentially it started off with a lot of singers, musicians, things of that nature. And then I think the way that it kind of tied in with American Idol was that, you know, I guess who doesn't love a good competition? So we threw in a little bit of a voting process. So the way that the show is formatted now is that when the show starts, each week you'll have a challenge, and I'll challenge the contestants to do, you know, something, I guess, music related, or just some type of challenge where they have to cater their talent to do that challenge. So we've done Disney challenges, we've done Broadway, we've done TV show theme songs, we've done love songs. And so each week the contestants will have to perform whatever their talent is to cater to that. A voting takes place with all of the members who were in that group, and then the contestant that was last standing, or not last standing, but the contestant who had the least amount of votes was eliminated that week. And then from that point on, weeks will go on and on and on until there were two contestants last standing. And then same thing, you know, they would get a challenge, and whoever was voted the winner of that season won. And it was funny because I really wasn't giving, like, I don't have a lot of cash or anything like that, or, you know, wild, lavish gifts to give, but you would be amazed at how many people came out just literally to have the chance to showcase their talent. And so I was just amazed at how these people really, like, the people who watched, the audience, the voters, the contestants, like, this was a big deal. And so 3 seasons in, I guess word kind of started to spread, and I had a lot of family members, friends, people outside of the blind community who was like, you know, I want to be a part of this. Like, I want to audition. I want to participate. I want to vote. I want to see the episodes. And so I said, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time that I take this, if nothing else, this particular show and bring it out to the masses. And so then that way, those people who really wanted to see it could, and they can have the opportunity to participate. So, right now, we are actually about to start season 4. And, you know, which is the video that you saw, the auditions are getting ready to come up, and we're getting ready to have the talent show take place. So I'm excited. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I always get excited around this part of the process because you get to really see people kind of show up and, you know, get ready to share to the world what they have to offer. So, yeah.
And what is this talent show called?
So I actually changed the name from when it was inside of the group. Right now, it's called Coming to the Stage.
Coming to the Stage, season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Season 4, yes.
Got it. Now, okay. So are the auditions, like, is this like an online show? Or
So, yeah.
Like,
Go ahead.
how are you handling the auditions? Are people, is it all just through people sending in videos the entire time, or how are you handling that?
Correct. Um, so the audition process itself is for those who are singing or rapping or playing a musical instrument or composing or whatnot. The audition can only be the length of a verse and a chorus. I don't want, if it ends up being 13 people, my video or my editing, the video may be 2 hours long. So I'm trying to kind of condense it a little bit. But yeah, so essentially they do something similar to what you and I are doing right now, and they showcase their talent, and then they send me the video. Once I get the video, I do the chopping and the editing and all of that video magic to make an episode and go from there. So the people who actually show interest or who make the cut, I guess essentially, they'll be on the first episode, which is the auditions and introductions, where the audience gets introduced to who the person is. I'll kind of give a short little bio or background about the person, and then you get to see them show you what all they can bring to the table before the actual challenges take place.
Right, right. Okay, cool. So then how are you like sending out the show? Do you just publish the videos onto Facebook and just the people watching on Facebook, that is the audience? I mean, the reason I'm asking is there are a lot of ways that this is done. I mean, you could do
Correct.
premieres on YouTube, you could do live streams on YouTube if you have at least 1,000 followers on YouTube, 1,000 subs.
Right, right.
So
Um,
there's a lot of ways that you could get the audience to participate. How are you navigating that, I guess? Right.
okay, so and again, if you guys are not already, I would love it if you guys went and subscribe to my or follow and share it and like and stuff like that. I actually have a Facebook page that's actually called Blind_Justice, the way I see it. And that's actually my moniker, is Blind Justice. I got a thing for Marvel Comics, so yeah. But again, blind, BLIND _JUSTICE semicolon, the way I see it. So the videos actually will be posted up there. Now, the Blind Justice page is a public page. So for anybody who wants to follow it, they can easily go in and click and like, follow, all of that stuff, and you can watch it there. One of the things that I did want to start this particular season with me now taking it out to the masses is that I also started a YouTube page under the same exact name. And I felt like, because let's be honest, everybody doesn't have a Facebook page. So for those who did not have a Facebook page, they could also go on YouTube and also watch the videos as well.
Right, right. Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's very important when you do this to have some sort of a coordinated strategy where if you post, the video to your page, I mean, and I do it here at Aaron's Opinion too. I have a system, I've developed a methodology where, after I record an episode, first I send you the episode, let's say, then I send you
Mm-hmm.
some other stuff. We'll talk about it later. I send you some other stuff, some other little surprises, in
Okay.
Messenger, in
Okay.
Messenger. And then after you have it, then I tweet it out, because if I don't tweet it out, then I'll forget to tweet it out. And then
Okay.
I put it up on my public page, Aaron's Opinion, on Facebook. So
Okay.
my point, if you would like, would you like feedback about this, by the way?
I'm always open to
Oh,
suggestions.
okay. Wasn't sure. It never hurts to ask. So,
Right.
I mean, one thing that I would try to do with this type of thing, and it's difficult to do it with this type of thing, with the audience watching, the frustration that could come up, right, is,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're watching on YouTube, and let's say, Blind Justice posts, publishes the video to YouTube, and let's say that Aaron's Opinion comments, and I say something nice, okay, I really like that singer's, rendition of, Piece X. My vote goes to them, or something like that. Thumbs up, I vote for them, or something like that. Well, let's say that you, for some reason, and it wouldn't be easy to do, it wouldn't be difficult to do this. Let's say you never saw that comment, and then other people were voting, on Facebook, or commenting on the Facebook stream, on the
Right.
Facebook post. So I think when you do something like that, my strongest advice is please, try to use maybe StreamYard, or maybe do a live where you're doing, well, quite frankly, the easiest way to do it that you can still get to the public would be if you just go live on your page. So,
Okay.
I mean, that would be, if you want my strategy, that would be the strategy I would utilize to make sure that way you don't have to worry about someone commenting and sending in their vote and then you accidentally not seeing it, because it can be very confusing when you
Hmm.
post on multiple platforms. I don't know. That's just one thing that would stand out to me with that type of thing, is that it's easy to overlook a comment that could be important. Yeah.
Correct. Um, and thank you actually for that suggestion as well, because I know that that's one of the things that I know that and again, I'm kind of crossing into a different realm here, because I know that there will be people who are coming from different avenues, at least from what I've been told, that'll be coming from different avenues or from different places who will be participating, as opposed to having it in one central location where everybody who sees it is just in this one group per se. Um, so I did know that I wanted to, at least, when all the contestants get together and stuff like that, I did want to go ahead and, have the conversation with them, let them know how the process takes place. I actually wanted to bring along some of the older contestants, some of the past season's winners, to kind of also let them know how the process takes place. But like you said as well, I also wanted to go live on my own personal page to also let the audience know exactly the process that the audience will be having to go through, or, like you said, the voting process, how the scheduling will go up, what it's like when they're watching the video. So kind of just to let everybody know how everything will flow from that point on.
Okay. So how is everything gonna flow?
So typically, again, and it might be a little bit different. Like you said, I'm still trying to tweak it, because again, it's on a different kind of platform here. I'm gonna try to remain true to what I did in the group, but it may be a little bit different. The way that it ran previous seasons was that on Monday I will post up the episode, and give everybody who was in the group the opportunity to watch the video until Wednesday. At Wednesday, or on Wednesday, that's when I would either go live or post a video or make just a general post reminding people, hey, okay, now it's time to vote. I would also post the video again for those who maybe didn't get a chance to see it the first time, or whatever the case may be. So then that way they had a direct link to see the video that they were going to be voting on or critiquing or whatever have you. And then that was the post to remind everybody that, they could vote. Now the difference, which is why I'm still kind of on the fence, is that I know that with Facebook, there is an actual poll or voting option when you make a post. So I know, and again, I may have to tweak this. I know when we were within the group, I literally could throw up a poll, and then all the members who would vote would just go to that particular poll and then cast their votes right there. Like I
That's
said, I'm still.
that's
Go
what
ahead.
you know what right. Okay, that's what I would do. Yes, I if I had
Right.
that choice, I would just go with that. You always, with these types of things, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic at all. You
Mm-hmm.
always want to use anytime you're in this type of business, and and I've been in this business now, this basically this TV showish podcast universe
Okay.
business. I've been in the business for a year now, and I'll tell you, anytime you can use the KISS method, use the KISS method, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it simple, stupid,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
you never want to overcomplicate when you can avoid overcomplicating, because
Correct.
everything, because even the
Mm-hmm.
simplest things end up being too much work anyway.
Exactly.
So you really want to try to make this a very, very direct, simplified way. And the other thing is, I would recommend, what I would, how I would do it, I don't know, is I would put up, posts only on one page at a time, because people kind of jump around, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to have traction where people know, okay, if I want to vote, I need to
This is
watch
where
this
I gotta
video,
go.
and this is the only page where it's available. And you'll discover that over time, the right people who actually want to be there will come back. And I've seen it
There,
on my
there
show
you
too.
go.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. That's just my feedback about it. The other thing is the other question, and then it has a follow-up, is so before tonight, like, had you ever like have you ever like heard of me before, or had any idea of Aaron's opinion before tonight?
Before this tonight, no.
That is
Your
fine.
name rung a bell, but I was not aware of the podcast. No.
Okay, okay, I see, I see. The reason I ask is one of my other great podcast friends, and now that you're on this podcast, now he's your friend in our group. He's a YouTuber, and he's fully monetized on YouTube. He has a lot of power on the YouTube platform, and he has done an enormous. He's number one. He's an incredibly kind person, an incredibly strong friend in the community, and he's just a wealth of knowledge about exactly, Dominic, what you're trying to do. And okay, what is the best practice? What is the best strategy? How to use StreamYard. Dominic, this guy, he wrote the software that allows the StreamYard software to be accessible for blind people. So you're going to get to
Okay.
talk to the person who basically wrote the program.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of people that I would like you to try to network with if you want, who would be
Okay.
able to point you in the right direction to make sure that this show gets out to the right channel so that it becomes like a really good TV show, and it really does work. Right.
Thank you. I mean, I'm always like, as you can see, I'm always up for suggestions.
Yeah. Great.
Please lead me in the right direction. Because again, I've always felt like that's how, to me, life should be a growing process. I shouldn't be in the same spot tomorrow that I am today. Even if it's something little like I just learned that there's a speck on the floor, something like that. I feel like once we get to a point where we're like, you can't teach me nothing, you can't tell me anything, I feel like that's when you stop yourself from growth. And so when I tell you,
Exactly.
please give my name out, share it. I love all kinds of input. So definitely.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the other thing is, so since these are video auditions, I mean, there's a lot to think about. I mean, like, is it the entire world, or is it just anyone who happens to know about it? Because now you are talking to the world. So,
Correct.
so are you accepting videos that are not in English, or do they have to be in English? What are the regulations of the show, I guess? Mm-hmm.
So the good thing is, again, and I go back to the group. The first 2 seasons, I had a lady from New Zealand.
Ah,
The third season, I had somebody who was in Singapore. Somebody in
is that
New
the
Zealand.
same person? Wait, that Singapore person, is that the person that's listening to this podcast right now?
I don't. Am I allowed to say the name
No,
or?
no, no, thank you. I was just being silly, just being
Oh,
just being
okay.
being sarcastic. See, on my show, we
um.
always have to have some comedy too. We have to have some jokes in there
Oh, I
sprinkled
got
around. Oh
you.
yeah.
Yeah. Singapore.
Mm.
Another individual from New Zealand. There was a guy who actually is from the States, but was actually stationed in Vietnam, I believe, at the time.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah, I mean, people from all over. And then actually, and it's funny that you mentioned the thing about the different languages. When the second season started, there was a certain checkpoint or a part in the show where everybody who was left were people who spoke, originally spoke a different language. So, surprisingly enough, I actually made a challenge where all of them had to sing in their native language. So we've had the actual season 2 winner actually speaks Hawaiian. So he did a song in Hawaiian. There was a young lady who did a song in Spanish. There was a guy who actually sung and he spoke Greek. So
Okay,
I
that's
think,
cool. That's cool.
yeah. And so again, it's stuff like that. Again, like I said, but all, and like I tell them, I'm like, look, far be it from me to tell you how you should showcase yourself. If this is your talent, then please, by all means, let's see it. I don't like I joke around when I say this, but I'm like, if your talent is crocheting, then crochet at the best of your ability. But like I said, for me, and I guess in a way, although I am glad that it brings the people together, I know a lot of times things can get kind of mixed up in the crosshairs, but I always try to remember the main goal of this. And this is just to get the community talking, get people comfortable with, associating with one another, feeling comfortable with who they are, sharing their talents, and then just hopefully just bringing the people together.
Ooh, boy, do I have an idea to help you.
Okay.
I tell you what, I'll let you pick. Do you want me to tell you now or tell you off the air?
I'm scared. I'm thinking maybe, I'm wondering if maybe this should be an off the air
Okay. All right.
conversation, maybe.
No,
Let's leave the viewers something to look forward to.
That's right. That's right. So and that's right. So push subscribe. And I've never said it before, but while you're at it, don't forget to click that notification bell and smash the like button if you like the video. All right. So that's what you guys should do at home to make sure that you don't miss another episode of Aaron's Opinion from here on out. Well, okay. I mean, I think that's really fascinating. So, have you been interviewed by other podcasters about this show that you're working on?
Actually, no. This will actually be the first time that I was actually interviewed about this show. Well, let me go back. There's been I've been interviewed by other people, not particularly in reference to this show. I mean, the topic of the show came up. Shameless plug. There was a guy who actually participated in season 3 who has his own podcast. And
good.
Actually,
Wait. Okay, well, definitely let me talk to that person because I just want to build my podcast. Cool. Let's connect. Let's connect. Okay. Let's make connection. See, you always have to network in this business. You always have to. See, that's why. See, you have to network.
Right.
You have to know your audience. Work until eventually you're connected with the entire community. Where eventually you get some really interesting guests. So cool. Well, all right. Well, we'll talk about that one off the air. I would love to network with that person, whoever that person is. Right.
And again, like I said, so he interviewed me, although I don't think it was in efforts to talk about the show specifically. But of course, naturally, since he participated in the competition, it was going to be a topic. So, I was interviewed by him. I was interviewed by another individual who seems to be kind of prevalent in the blind community. Again, at this point in time, when he interviewed me, I kind of was in the beginning phases of wanting to create content.
Yeah. And
so I know that it was kind of a brainstorm at that point in time. So, before the first season. And so, he kind of was there when the whole idea was being shaped and formed. So, I've had interviews before, but nothing that was solely for the show like this is.
Excellent. So good. Mm-hmm. Really nice. All right. So, I mean, really the most important part of the talent show is to have fun and to show the world your talent. But as far as prizes, I mean, have you thought of a prize that you could give someone?
So the funny thing is, and I feel like every time I say this,
no, but yes. What's the answer? No, you haven't, but yes, go ahead.
Well, but that's the thing. I feel like every time I say this, that people are like throwing knives and stuff at me. But when I tell you, okay, so again, I'm like I said, I don't have I can't give a record deal or I can't give a monetary prize or anything like that. And I've always tried to rack my brain about what I could give the contestants. Because, I mean, essentially somebody wants to be able to, have something to signify that, okay, I did this, I received this. When I tell you out of all 3 seasons, and again, all 3 winners or even the participants, they'll tell you, because I personally have racked my brain. They're like, you know what? We really don't want anything. Literally just the opportunity to participate is enough for us. And it always blows my mind. I mean, literally, it blows my mind every single season. Now, I will say, because along with the talent show, I've also done other content and stuff like that, something similar to what we're doing here. So I do know for season 2 and for season 3, I sat down with the winners and kind of just had a conversation about what we are doing, something similar to what we're doing now, and just gave them the opportunity to really kind of share their talent, but not with the whole stipulation of you got to do it how I say do it, or the whole competition aspect. Instead of having to perform a Disney song or perform a Broadway song, they can just get on there and just show us why they won. But when I tell you outside of that, And it's funny because, like I said, every season that this happens, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't give nobody anything. The next season is going to be the most horrible season because nobody's going to show out. When I tell you each season, I get more and more people. So I just, yeah.
I see. Well, that is that is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really think of anything, off the top of my head either. But
Right.
but that is fine. Yes. So okay. So, when you are not uploading these videos, how else are you spending your time?
So, aside from the talent show, which I know you were just saying, outside of videos, I do actually put out other content. Like I said, I think my main thing at this point in time was I wanted to help others. So in any way that, if it was family or like I said, just strangers in the street, I try to do my best to make sure that if I'm doing something to educate or expose people to certain types of things. So there actually, which I'm still, y'all keep your fingers crossed for me out here. There is a lead where I stay at that hopefully maybe one day I might be able to get on with working for an advocacy company. When I first moved to where I'm at right now, I actually was put in contact with a certain individual who, really helped me as far as, learning how to remain independent and the resources in my area. And it just might come to be that there might be a position where I might be able to also help the public in that light as well. So I'm hoping, again, fingers crossed, that I might be able to get in that position and, really truly help, at least in my opinion, those who really, need the assistance. So, but outside of that, and as far as videos go, outside of me doing the whole talent show thing, when I tell you it's a wealth, ideas are constantly running in and out of my mind. So, I do advice columns. I've done, I don't even know what to call the show. Would it be like what are the shows called where it's like, okay, well, we're going to watch Orange is the New Black. And okay, my Google just spoke to me. We're going to watch Orange is the New Black. And then, next week after we watch the episode, we're going to sit down and talk about it. I don't know. What would you call a show like that?
It's kind of like a book club, but for shows.
Right. So, I've done shows like that. Let's see. I've done, which is actually what I'm trying to work on now, aside from the talent show, is I've always had people in the community, blind or sighted, be like, well, how do you do this? Like, I can't tell you how many people are like, well, how do you use your phone? So I wanted to make like little videos to just show how I do things and maybe answer some of those frequently asked questions. So just things like that kind of just get, the juices flowing and the creativity, because like I was saying earlier, it's really easy to kind of get discouraged. So I find the more that I'm kind of using that energy and taking advantage of it, then it seems like the more that I'm, bringing people in and helping and getting the word out there. And to me, that's what it's all about.
So good. So good. And now that we're connected, I'm going to help you to get the word out about your channel and what you do, because it's really important to me to help other blind people, and really to help anyone, but yet especially other blind people who are deserving of help.
And thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Look, I can take all the help I can get.
Can't we? Don't we all? Don't we all?
Right, yeah. Right.
And I think it's really important to find podcasts that are open like mine, where you can come and have these conversations about content. I think it's really important to find the right podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and again, I'm sure I'll probably say it when the show is over. Again, thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure, of course. So you've had a lot of guests from overseas. Have you been overseas yourself?
I have gone out the country once. Overseas, no. I did go on vacation to Aruba,
Mm-hmm.
which was definitely an experience within itself. I'm actually the product of a military couple, so I am a military brat. Although we've mainly traveled in the States when both of my parents were in the military, I have lived in Honolulu, Hawaii, for a short period of time. My parents were stationed there. But outside of that, although I've been pretty much up and down the East Coast, outside of Aruba and Hawaii, that's probably the extent of my travels.
All right. Well, I've
So,
never been to Aruba or Hawaii, but they sound like extremely interesting places.
oh yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful, yeah.
Definitely. Sure, sure. All right. And so outside of everything we've gone over tonight, what are your hobbies, and what other activities are you doing outside of the YouTube and the podcasting and all of that?
Hmm. Hobbies. And whenever anybody asks me this, I'm always like, well, what do I do? Like, do I really do anything? um, I've always, well, first off, I'm a really big people person. So you throw me in the mix of a whole bunch of people, and I feel like I'm right at home. I'm definitely a very social butterfly. Um, so really, just I love music. I can't sing. I sound like somebody's choking a cat, but but
I was just about to ask you. I won't ask now. I was about
but
to
yeah.
ask
Oh,
you
it's
if you can sing something for
and
us.
and isn't that so horrible? Like the host of essentially a singing competition can't sing worth a lick. I mean, it's gotta be. It's so sad, but yeah, I'm definitely not a singer. I know before I lost my sight, I actually was a dancer, a professional dancer. So although I'm still kind of working out the kinks of that to learn how to kind of maybe incorporate that back in instead of, you know, feeling like the blindness has completely kicked it out of the realm of possibility. I have,
Hmm.
decided to say, okay, well, let me try this again. But yeah, like I said, that big on music. Uh, I know that I'm going through this phase now where I feel like I want to learn more about who I am and my history and where I come from. So a lot of my time now has been done like with researching and trying to find out more information about, my heritage and my family and the lineage and stuff like that. So I guess that's kind of become somewhat of a hobby for me. Really just kind of seeing the depths of where everything has started from. So yeah.
Good. Excellent. Cool. Cool. And now we come to a great part of the show. Towards the end, I always ask my guests this question. And my guests earlier today, they asked some really good questions. So if you could really put me on the spot and ask
Okay.
me only one question, what question do you want to ask me, Dominic?
Okay. Where you are at right now in reference to your podcast, if you can go back and give yourself advice when you first started your podcast, what one piece of advice would you give your past self to make sure that everything turned out successful?
Thank you. I would have told myself to get onto YouTube a lot sooner than I had. I'm glad I'm here now, and I wish I had done it before. But I'm so glad I'm in the YouTube sphere, the YouTube ecosystem now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. Huh.
All
Cool.
right. Yeah. All right. So, if someone wants to get in touch with you about this episode, about your show, again, tell them, give a plug, say what the show is called and where they can find all the information. So, give one more plug. Go ahead.
Okay. So the show itself is actually called Coming to the Stage. It actually will be broadcasted on Facebook, and the name of the Facebook page is Blind_Justice, the way I see it. And again, it's spelled just like how it sounds, BLIND_JUSTICE, semicolon, the way I see it. If you want to get in contact with me, You can, if you have Facebook, you can message me again, Dominic A. Parker, DOMINIC, middle initial A, and then last name Parker, PARKER. You can also message the Blind Justice page as well. And if you don't have any of those platforms, you can email me at nick31685@gmail.com. And that's NICK 31685@gmail.com.
And if you want to get in touch with me, as I said, this was another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, as it was. So glad Dominic joined us this evening. I'm sure he'll be back. In fact, I promise.
Yes,
In fact,
definitely.
know that you're always on this podcast now, and I extend that offer to every guest from all corners of the globe. So know that that's a very serious promise that I will keep. But if you guys want to get in touch with me, as I said, of course you can call the show's number, or of course you can also text it to 1-240-681-9869. Aaron's
So
opinion. Oh, yeah, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
your
no
whole
problem.
thing.
That's probably no worries. Actually, as a podcaster, it's tricky. It's tricky. So when that happens, no worries. Go right ahead.
Well, I figured, talent show and all of that. Can you sing, sir?
No.
Okay.
That was good. That was an interesting. That was a bit unsettling and a bit interesting to end this video. Okay. I tell you what. Okay. Before you start asking for other things, can I just give myself a plug so we can get out of here and start talking?
Oh yeah. Go ahead. You're good.
Okay, let's try it again. Okay, all right. Okay, action. Okay, so thank you for listening to this very, very entertaining and very upbeat episode of Aaron's Opinion, podcast for blind people, where we spoke about critical issues in the blindness community with Dominic A. Parker, definitely a great YouTuber. I can tell already. As I said, but actually, the fact that I'm saying it twice helps, because people will hear the information twice. If you want to get in touch with the show, two ways to do it. One, of course, you can call, leave a voicemail, or send a text message. 1-240-681-9869, or aaronsopinion6@gmail.com, or follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Facebook. Aaron's Opinion, the Aaron's Opinion page on Facebook. Comment below right here on YouTube, where most of you are actually watching, and even consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. I appreciate the support. I wish you all the very best of health. Dominic, I wish you I wish you very good health. And hold on, do not hang up. As we say on this show, thanks so much for listening, everybody. We have a very special way of ending every episode with you by saying, help one person today, help 1 million people tomorrow.